Okay, thank you everyone for joining this live session. And straight away, we are really in the broader market or in the broader economy in the US. So, US equities were lower as the markets appear to react to hawkish comments from Fed Governor Brainerd that the central bank reductions and at a rapid pace. The remarks came as expectations of tighter global monetary policies remain elevated ahead of tomorrow's key release of the minutes from the Fed's March meeting, and after Australia seemed to take a bit more hawkish, to be a bit more hawkish in its statement after leaving its benchmark interest rate unchanged. So inflation pressures continue to be the main catalyst for the monetary policy sentiment, and today's ISM Services Index, which accelerated less than forecasts, highlighted the material costs. The material costs have created uncertainty for many businesses. Meanwhile, the continuing war in Ukraine remained in focus, as the US and Europe are reportedly considering further sanctions on Russia. In other economic news, the trade deficit held steady at a wider shortfall than expected, and the final March S&P Global Services PMI index was unexpectedly revised lower. The yield curve has also been a significant source of market attention after it has seen some inversions and fostered recession uncertainty. Treasuries fell and yields moved higher, and the US dollar advanced, while gold and crude oil prices fell. In equity news, ExxonMobil suggested the largest quarterly profit since 2008. Carnival Corporation said it saw a record week of bookings, and Twitter announced that Elon Musk has been added to its board. Okay, so speaking of that, Tesla's CEO could reinvigorate Twitter without compromising role. Could reinvigorate Twitter without compromising roles at Tesla and SpaceX, according to Wedbush. So, Twitter's announcement on Tuesday, the 4th of April, to assign a board, that is today, to assign a board seat to Tesla's CEO. Elon Musk is seen as a positive for the social media site, as Musk will likely reinvigorate the brand and could entertain a host of near-term and long-term strategic initiatives, according to a research report published by Wedbush analyst Dan Ives on Tuesday. Okay, so Musk will serve on Twitter's board through 2024, the company said in a regulatory filing. During his tenure as director for the 90 days after, Musk will not be allowed to increase his stake in Twitter above 14.9%. But while Musk will now have to split his time between Twitter, Tesla, and SpaceX, Dan Ives thinks his involvement at Twitter will further expand his massive ecosystem and reach without compromising his key roles at Tesla or SpaceX. So accordingly, Dan Ives maintain his outperform rating for Tesla with a price target of $1,400. So right now, what we're looking at is MULN. We're done with Twitter. We're going to still going back to what happened to Twitter's stock. So right now, MULN is in red, closed down 4.9%. All through the session was in the negative. It is also in the negative at the moment as well. Okay, we can't see any news concerning MULN at the moment. Okay, there's a disclosure here, but it's not very interesting, I would say. That's okay. There's some piece of news here. Let's see whether there's anything they're saying here. Okay, taking an early look at the options market, we found the following names that may be worth watching throughout the day for the indication of investor expectations, given their options volume and implied volatility movement. Stocks seeing volatility buying, bullish call buying, bearish puts buying. Calls that includes MULN April 3rd. Puts are seeing interest with 4,240 contracts trading versus open interest of 1,330, pushing implied volatility around 43% to 310%. So companies expected to report earnings early May. Stocks seeing volatility selling. Okay, so they're mentioning the April 3rd puts for MULN, so we're just going to go ahead and see what's going on there. April 3rd puts. Okay, let's see the April 3rd. Did I see right? April 3rd. There's nothing like that. Was it April 3 puts? Okay, let's go back and get that news again. That piece of data. April 3 puts. This is MULN. April 3 puts seeing interest. Okay, maybe they're just referring to all the April 3. Okay, this is one of them. This is the closest to expiration. Volume was 11,478. Open interest was or is 13,158. So it's a. Let's look at the April 14th and see the three. See what's going on there. This is the $3 puts. Sorry, these are calls. Sorry, these are calls, not puts. April 3. Okay, so opening volume was 3,508. Open interest 4,884. Okay. Well, in any case, all we know is that MULN it's saw 75.668 million shares that crossed the tape. They closed down 4.9%, now down 0.74% in this post-market session. We're still maintaining our price target of $3.3 for MULN. Okay, let's now look at Twitter. Okay, Twitter. Okay, it's not up yet. Okay, it was up 2.02%, up 1.51% in this post-market session. We had targets yesterday and they were all satisfied, so we probably have to come up with more targets, but that might be done some other time. So let's see. We have already disclosed the news. Elon Musk is now a board member and he's going to be there for about 2 years, and he can't increase his stake above 14.9%. As such, any plans of any plans of trying to acquire the company is staved off for another 2 years. That is, I guess Elon Musk will be happy about that. He'll be happy to remain on the board if he's not going to be allowed to buy the company. That way he can exert his influence and use it to also, as we indicated earlier on, reinvigorate or broaden his ecosystem, and ultimately probably indirectly benefit his own businesses, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and all that stuff, and boring and yes, and all that stuff. So it wasn't a very wonderful session as such for the calls. Okay, even though we can see that the $31 calls gained 128.3%. Okay, so let's move on to SBFM. Sunshine by Pharma. Okay, it closed. It ran up again of 148.23%. We had a target of 5.96. It didn't. At some point, it was higher than that. It was reached at 6.01. Right now, momentum is flat. It's down 4.46%. This company, they indicated that their mRNA was able to destroy multi-drug resistant cancer cells in culture, and buyers jumped on the stock in the pre-market session especially, and took advantage of that. So that was the news concerning the stock. We had our target, as I indicated earlier on, was 5.96. So the volumes that crossed the tape in this session was 154.666 million shares. SBFM, where we are reiterating our target of 5.96. There's no guarantee it's going to get there. Okay, let's look at the next one. The next one is ATER. Ethereum was up 6.73% when changed in this post-market session. Let's see whether we'll see any fresh news. Okay, there seems to be some news here. Okay, shares of Ethereum rose. Okay, at the time they wrote this piece, it was up 11% to at $3.79 on strong volumes, continuing to rally for a second day. About 42.5 million shares had crossed the tape then. ATER shares were traded at 10:17 a.m. Eastern US time, the third most actively traded US stock. ATER options are trading 20 times their usual volumes according to TradeAlert data, with a put call ratio of 0.23 according to Refinitiv. An increase in traded call options signals that a rising number of investors are betting on the stock price to move higher. ATER is among the top 10 most discussed tickers on investor-focused social media StockTweets.com, indicating interest for more retail punters. Nearly 35% of the stock's free float is in short position, up from 24% a week ago, according to data from analytics firm Ortex. ATER supports 47% on Monday to no apparent news, cutting year-to-date losses to 17%. Okay, so that's some interesting data there concerning ATER. Okay, so yes, it was up 6.73, and we could see on the options side, in terms of gains, we can see the $2 calls is gained 130.77%. So we'll see whether this is going to continue. The short interest is amongst other things what has attracted market participants, and if they may still continue to circle the stock, but Given that it's only the gain was only 6.73%, it may be an indication that things may be cooling off a bit, but who knows. So let's look at ANGH. And we have Inc. It was again 47.52%, down 8.57 now. Momentum is waning, but RSI is also indicating that buyers are still very much in control, even though momentum has cooled off. Is there any news concerning ANGH? There's no news. It's not optionable. 7.735 million shares crossed the tape. Okay, so let's look at INZH. Hey, Paul. And INZY. How was your day, Paul? INZY, it's Enzyme Pharma Inc. It's gained 38.6%, down 4.36% in this post-market session. Momentum is completely flat, but RSI is just midway, indicating that the market is torn a piece between buyers and sellers. Okay, so let's see whether there's any news concerning Enzyme Pharma Inc. There's no news, and let's see if it's optionable. Okay, it's not optionable, although there's no data concerning the stock at the moment. Yes, I know. Yeah. Okay, that's all right. Yeah, because I'm just recapping what happened. I'm actually supposed to go to bed myself. ATER. Okay, let's see what these guys are saying here concerning ATER. This was yesterday. Here's what's taking shares of ATER stock to the moon today. That was yesterday. One of the most explosive winners in that session was the tech company ATER, as retail investors focus in on potential short squeeze. Currently, ATER stock has surged more than 60% on yet another winning day in the stock market. Most indices have a shot higher. Okay, so let's see. We'll just go down to what could be interestingly some of the similar forces they saw play out in the Q1 of last year taking place again. Speculators are back to speculating on meme stocks, and while Ethereum may not fit the exact definition of a meme stock, it is certainly one that is on the radar of retail investors. Notably, this company has also made some key moves in the C-suite. An executive shuffle which saw Cynthia Williams join Ethereum's board of directors has investors excited. Ethereum is seemingly making all the right moves and attracting significant interest for good reason. Okay, why is ATER stock surging? Why did it surge yesterday? Okay, while there's likely some overhang from last week's announced executive addition, it appears that much more to this rally than some front office maneuvering. Rather, retail investors are likely responsible for much of this move, which has been very dramatic. Okay, shares of Ethereum are attractive to retail speculators for a few reasons. First, this company's share price, which sits at around 3.75 per share at the time of writing, makes options contracts cheap for those looking to play a near-term spike. These are the kinds of stocks investors may want to play around with. Okay, Ethereum has a very high short interest ratio relative to its peers, according to Fintel. Ethereum's short interest as a percentage of its float sits at 32%. Additionally, off-exchange short volume sits at 63%, a very high level for any given stock. Thus, there's the recipe for a short squeeze brewing with the stock. Okay, retail investors were jumping aboard the speculative train, driving shares of the small cap stock higher. Okay, so yeah, that's what happened with ATER yesterday, and probably still what's going on today. Okay, yeah, see you, Paul, and I'm actually signing out as well. So okay, ATER just still holding a gain of 0.55. Let's get MULN. MULN is okay, unchanged at the moment, and TWTR is up 1.22